And we're back with another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for Adult Small Business Owners and Entrepreneurs, where we help you sell what you make. And I am your host, best-selling author SaDon Long, and we are officially 44 days away from Christmas, which is why today we are talking about emails. This time of year, it's hard to get a hold of people. They're going to work, they're going to parties, they're running around trying to get Christmas gifts, so you may struggle to be able to make them slow down. And one of the ways that I love and I've been really successful with is email marketing. Now, here's some reasons that email marketing really works. Number one, anybody who gave you their email actually probably wants to hear from you. Whether it's through an opt-in, whether it's through a business card, whether it's just through a conversation. Okay. If they gave you contact information, they probably want you to contact them. So if you've been getting emails all throughout the year, these people probably would be very happy to hear from you. Number two, emails are one-to-one, but what they allow you to do is be one-to-many and one-to-one at the same time. Now, what I mean by one-to-one, I mean that the person who reads the email really feels like you're having a conversation with just them. So it's very personal, and personal helps to build trust. Personal helps people feel more important, feel loved, feel nurtured. And if they feel loved, then they'll probably love you back. So now you got two of the three things you need to make a sale, which is love and trust. Now, the one-to-many part is that instead of me having to sit down and send handwritten letters to each and every person, instead of me having to make each person an individual phone call, it allows me to send a bunch of emails that all feel personal. So that's the second thing that's really great about email marketing. And then the third thing is if you're a person who doesn't have that quote-unquote alpha personality and you struggle with asking for the sale, or you struggle with sending the text messages or the DMs, or you just don't have time to post, this is something that you could do at your desk, on your phone, without it taking a whole lot of time. So those are the things that emails will help you do. And the problem that emails will help you solve is it actually gets you directly to a customer. Okay. The great thing about emails is that it gets you directly to a customer. Okay. So now for my people at home, who are watching this, and maybe you're watching it now, maybe you're watching it later, directly to a customer is extremely important. Because other than a phone call or an in-person meeting, this is really the only way that you can get directly to a customer. And the reason you want to get directly to customers is because when you get to a decision maker, they can make a decision that same day. So if you need sales today, which most of us do, you now have the opportunity to actually get to somebody who can buy something today. If you're running a course, they can buy it today. If you have merchandise for sale, they can buy it today. If you have opportunities for them to VIP, for them to register, they can buy it today. If you're selling a book, they can buy it today. So whatever it is, getting directly to a decision maker, aka a buyer, gives you a better opportunity to make a sale. Because even if you make a phone call, there's no guarantee, because now that person has to click a link. So now they got to get off the phone, and then they got to go to a page. They got to go to a link. Whereas with an email, they could just literally read down somewhere in there that there's a link embedded, click on the link, and buy. So if you need sales today and you have email addresses, follow up with them. Circle back to them. Ask them if they ever got that problem solved. Love that one. That's Dean Graziano. Then there's another one, that's by Chris Voss. Shout out to Chris Voss. And that's, did you give up? Okay, so both of those are really great lines to open up an email thread or an email conversation with. Did you get the problem solved? Okay, have you given up on? So those are two really great ways that aren't over salesy, that don't put you in a position to be told no, that don't put you in a position to have to feel awkward. Because I know a lot of people, it's like you're putting it off. And you've been putting it off for the last 4 months, trying to reach out to people, trying to get customers, trying to do what you need to do to make your business grow. And you've been saying, well, I just got so much going on at work, or I just got so much going on at home, or I need to go do this for, somebody. And if you continue to do stuff for everybody other than you, how are you then going to grow your business? I'm going to put it to you like this. What do you hope to achieve by avoiding doing the thing that gets you the money you need to pay the rent, to pay the people, to pay yourself, to pay your bills, and to stack up some for later? What do you hope to gain by not doing it? Now, I'm going to be very honest with you, and I know we're talking about emails, but I feel like this is important. The people around you are going to ask you to do things that have nothing to do with your business because it is not their responsibility to help you run your business. It is not their responsibility to help you pay your bills. It is not their responsibility to support you. It is not their responsibility. They didn't sign the lease. They didn't hire the people. They didn't buy the merchandise. They didn't take the time to set the place up. They didn't take the time to mix the butters. They didn't take the time to create the program or the curriculum. They didn't do none of that. You did that. You're the one who put all this money and time into building something that now you have to shift into sales mode in order to make work. And if you don't do it, what happens? How do you leave that job if you don't make your business work? How do you become a full-time entrepreneur if you don't put any time in? And in regard to things that will actually move your business. Not just putting time in and making more designs, not just putting time in on the website, but actually putting time in creating transactions. So you could either A, make the calls yourself, or B, hire somebody to make the calls, hire somebody to do the videos, hire somebody to be an influencer. But here's the thing with that. Do you have that extra money to do it? And is the person you can afford any good? Do you have an eye for talent? Can you see people who may be underused or misused or not being used at all, incorporate them into your business and actually make it work? Or are you one of those people who always want to give people a chance who can't help you, who always want to help people out who have no proven track record and put your business at risk in the process? Because it's cool that you helped somebody out. It's cool that you gave somebody an opportunity. But your business, how's it going to thrive if the people you give opportunities to don't do great work? Which is why email is so important. These people already gave you contact information, which means that they probably want to see, or hear something that you got going on. Whether you send them a video, whether you send them, your latest products, or whether you send them some information. They probably want to hear from you and see. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out the way, we need people. People are busy. People are sending us the voicemail. People are not answering our calls. But at some point, they're probably going to check their email. So if I got something in the email that they want to hear that's going to help them avoid pain, it gives me a much better shot at getting a sale. Because now I just have to embed a link. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to do anything. They just have to click the link. Okay. So notice what I said. Something that I said that was very important. I said avoid pain. Now the reason you want to send emails that help people avoid pain is because most people don't really know how to be happy. Most people aren't happy. Most people are content. Okay. Now, content means that wherever they are, that's really the place that they're going to be. Now, they might talk about being successful. They might talk about losing weight. They might talk about doing all these wonderful things. But let's just be honest. How many people have you ever really had a conversation with who said that they were about to do something that really did it? Very few, I would imagine. There's always people on the beginning of the year that have New Year's resolutions. And how many people actually see it through for the whole 12 months? So talking about people being rich and being successful, that doesn't really motivate people as much as you think. And I speak from experience. Tons of it. 30 years of it. I've been sending emails for 20 years. Been sending emails for small business owners for over a decade at a very high clip with a lot of success. And what makes people open them is the ability to avoid pain. Think about it. What gets you to the dentist faster? White teeth or toothaches? What gets you to the doctor faster? Weight loss or pain in your chest? So if you've been selling the quote unquote carrot, and the wonderful great thing I could do for you, it's probably not going to get you as much success as just taking that same thing and reversing it. How to lose weight this holiday season, flip it around. How to avoid gaining weight this holiday season. How to get a crispy hairline. How to avoid having a hairline that people are going to make fun of you about. So take whatever the thing is that you would want to do and then do the opposite. Just flip it around. Instead of how to get, use how to avoid. Maybe I probably could have even in the title said, hey man, how to avoid sending out emails that people ignore. As I'm sitting here, maybe I should have done the opposite myself. But we're here now, so we're going to run with it. So the idea is to avoid pain, because that's what gets people moving faster. So if you're going to send out emails, send out the email that says how to avoid the pain. And that's the first one. So we're going to send out emails that help you avoid the thing that you don't want, because most people know what they don't want. What they don't know is what they do want. Okay? And because people are comfortable in their social circles, comfortable in their peer group, comfortable with the acceptance that they've already received, they're very hesitant to do anything that is going to push them out of that peer group. Because if your peer group constantly is having these threads about what's going on with Kamala, what's going on the TV, what's going on with the ball game, and then all of a sudden you introduce something different, then what's going to happen is you're going to now put yourself at risk of no longer being in that group. If everybody been getting together to drink and smoke, watch the ball game, and now you come along like, hey man, I think we should get some carrots today instead of chicken wings. Now that's going to put you at odds with the group. So most people never do anything that puts them at odds with the group. And that's why the aspirational doesn't work as well. So trying to help you get emails that get opened, trying to help you run an effective campaign. And part of the effective campaign is just simply knowing what to talk about. So you want to talk about avoiding pain. Because that's going to give you something that people actually care about. Because people don't really care about going up as much as they care about not falling back. And the how to avoids are more likely to be something that they actually have concern about. Like people talk about having good credit. Yeah, maybe it's exciting, maybe it's not. Hey, but if you say, hey, here's how you get a car, even if you got bad credit, now where are there going to be more people at? So the idea that get rich emails work, they don't, because usually your get rich emails end up in spam, number one. Number two, your get rich emails seem to be too good to be true. And people, as we've already discussed, and if you've been watching this for a while, you know that people don't really trust business people, small business people, especially minority small business people. We'll have a video about that another day. But you and I both know, Mr. Small Business Owner watching right now, people give you way more flack and expect way more of you than they do from your major brand counterparts. So since we know trust is low, and they're probably not going to open all our emails anyway, we got to give them something in the emails that they want, because that's going to give us the opportunity to then get a sale. And the reason we sent it in the first place was because we wanted a sale. We wanted them to do something that would help us while we were helping them. That's simple. Okay, so now the second thing that you send emails for, and the second way you use an email, is the deadline. Okay, so now you can send sales emails. Let people know that you are running specials. And when you're running a special, always include a deadline. Now, the reason you want to include a deadline is because most people are procrastinators. Most people are busy. Most people are overwhelmed. Most people got way too much going on. And if you leave it open-ended, what it says in their mind is, it's not that important, I'll get back to it another day. But if you send them something that's going to help them avoid pain, and you say, hey man, you only got 10 days to take whatever I need you to take, or do whatever I need you to do in order to avoid this pain, and then it goes away and you'll be stuck with the pain, the majority of people will then take action. And that's what you need in order to get a sale. You need them to actually do something. And the way to get them to do something is say, there's only so much time you got in order to get rid of this pain you have. There's only so much time you have to take advantage of this opportunity. There's only so much time. It is not infinite. It is not infinite, and it is not forever. So because it's not infinite and it's not forever, you better do something now. Okay. And if you really want to ratchet up, hey, you put a limited amount and you give them a deadline. See, if you put a limited amount, now even if you're moving slow and you beat the deadline, you still might come up short on the thing that's going to help you avoid the pain, because I only had so many of them. And this time of year, we know the holidays are coming. This time of year, we know people are running out. This time of year, we know that a bunch of people are going to wait till the very last minute, whether it be because of their paycheck or whether it be because they're just so distracted. So in order to get your money sooner than later, you got to put that deadline on it, and you got to put a limited amount of seats, a limited amount of inventory, a limited amount of appointments. You can't make it infinite, and you can't leave it open-ended, because that just doesn't work. And I'm speaking from experience, over 20 years of it. So again, we got the deadline, we got the limited amount. Now here's one of my secrets when it comes to the deadline. If you're dealing with people who live paycheck to paycheck, you never cut off the sale before the payday. Here's why you never cut off a sale before payday. Because the day that they'll have money is after your sale is over. So if they don't have any money, how are they going to buy something? So let's just say I could cut the sale off on the 30th. Most people cut the sale off on the 30th. Makes absolutely no sense. People get paid on the 1st. So you run your sale through the 2nd. That way, it gives them a chance to get their paycheck and make an impulse buy. Because now they have money in their hand. And if they have money in their hand, they're much more likely to buy. and you want to cut it off on the second, and you want to still make it limited. Because now you're talking about a person who has, let's just say they got $1,500. Okay. If they got $1,500, they're more likely to spend $100 today than if they are at the end of the month and they only have $400. So fresh money, fresh excitement, fresh dopamine, all things that work. You get a check, a sale comes along, boom, you own it right then. So you always want to run your sale past people's payday. You know, if you're only running it to the 15th, you run it to the 17th. And then there's going to be that window at the end of your open cart, at the end of your sale, and that's where people are going to really pick up the phone the day of. People are going to be calling. So if you've been struggling and your sale's not running good, keep sending the emails. Send them the countdown emails. 1 more day, 2 more day, 3 more day, 4 more day. Whatever how many days it is, you send that. Or maybe I should have did it in the reverse. 4 more days, 3 more days, 2 more days, 1 more day, 12 hours. You know, cart closing in 5 minutes, sale ending at midnight, things like that. So now people who are procrastinating, you're reminding them, hey, you're running out of time. You're running out of time. You need to make a decision. You need to do something today because this thing that's going to help you avoid pain is going away. So you want to make sure that you're driving it to the deadline and letting people know, hey, we're running out. You know, we might have started with 12. Now I'm down to 3. These last 3, if they go before the deadline, then it's done. And as a bonus, give you one more secret. So when you drive all these people to the deadline, then what you can do, and some people do it, some people don't, something that I do is after I drive you all to the deadline, then I'll extend the sale for 2 more days. Now, why would I do that? Okay. Well, the reason I would do that is because I got all of these people who maybe forgot, and now they're clicking on the button at midnight, or they clicking on the button the next day, and they're still trying to buy because, oh my God, I finally got my money. Oh my God, I forgot all about this. Oh my God, I need to get to it right now because it's almost all gone. So now I got you all anxious. And when you send and you see that email the next morning that says extended for 12 more hours, you're like, whew, I thought I missed it. It works. Made a lot of money this way for a lot of clients. And all you're doing is, hey, this is what we got going on. It's going to help you avoid the following. This is how it works. If you like it, better buy it today because there's only so many of them. To do so, click the link. Now, that's the basic format. Obviously, you want to dress it up a little bit, but for time purposes, I'm not going to go deep into it. You know, ideally, problem, solution, and then work down from there. 3 things that you get by buying it, then go from there to, if you don't buy it, here's probably what's going to happen. Oh, by the way, there's only so many of them, so if you don't buy it, you're probably going to miss out. And the thing that I said was going to happen is going to happen because you're going to miss out. So to don't miss out, click the link. Oh, P.S., by the way, we only got this many left. Now, if you're watching at home, watch this 5 or 6 times. Stop it right until you get all the steps I just gave you down. Okay. Now, there's one more set of emails that you can run that are really effective and not necessarily as effective or moving as fast as driving to a deadline, but they are equally as effective in regards to building up the opportunity for a sale. Okay, so what I like to call it is telling the future. You know, and what you do is you find out what is actually going on that is going to affect your customer base. You know, like you saw a lot of videos the day after the election that said, hey, you know, January 1, here's what you can expect when Trump takes office. Here's what that means to you. Here's what that's going to mean to your business. Here's what that's going to mean for your family. So the election is the trigger point. The thing that makes it interesting to the people is how it affects them. One thing that I was really effective at using was inflation. I looked at inflation, I looked at how inflation worked, and I sent out emails like, hey, is inflation going to stop anytime soon? So now a person wants to know, hey man, is this inflation going to stop anytime soon? And then I would basically break down, you know, hey, here's what's going on with inflation. It's probably not going to stop anytime soon. So here's what you need to do. So now a person watching that is like, okay, so what I need to do because of inflation is da 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 da. They opened it, they read it, and then at the end, I hit them with an oh, by the way. Now, oh, by the way is a really great way for people who are not alpha personalities and don't want to seem very pushy to get sales. Oh, by the way, if you need help figuring out what to do during these difficult times, just give me a call at da 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 da. If you need help during these difficult times doing whatever it is that you sell, just click the link below. You know, again, if you're somebody who does hair care, you know, hey, this is a great time to talk about what happens when the weather changes. You know, and if you need something that's going to solve this problem for you, to help you avoid the pain of not having the problem solved, give me a call. You know, my man Tyrone Jackson was in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but you know, Tyrone, you know, does hair care for men. You know, units and hairlines and, you know, hairline restoration. So again, this is a perfect time for him because the holidays are coming. Hey, don't be the guy during the holidays that looks like he has shoe polish on his head. To avoid looking a hot mess, call me at ta-da. Again, you don't want to be the guy looking like a hot mess. You don't want to be the person who looks like they has shoe polish on their face. You don't want to be the one who's embarrassed, ashamed, or ostracized because you're not taking the proper actions. So let me help you. Let me partner with you. Let me be friends with you. Let me share with you what I know so that you can avoid the pain. So you want to be able to tell the future. You know, and telling the future is extremely important because there's so many trigger points and so many things that are going on that you need to have information about as a human being, that if somebody gives you that information, you'll be very grateful. You know, like last week, I talked about all the government changes that are keeping people from being social media successful. You know, the fact that now, you know, the platforms are limiting your reach. The reason they're limiting your reach is because they want you to pay to boost your ads. Now, the problem with boosting ads is that you can't guarantee that by boosting, you're going to get a sale. Because even though you are boosting them, you are still talking one to many and you are still talking to strangers. And it is very unlikely that one boosted ad is going to build enough trust and goodwill for someone to then give you their personal information so that you can then follow up with them. So if you're going to boost ads, you may have to boost several. And my suggestion, again, is use the emails that people have already given you because they already know you, like you, trust you, and are willing to at least hear you out. Follow by the people that you know who already like and trust you and get those people to then help you find more people. Do you still do the social media thing? You absolutely do, because if you do social media long enough and you do it well enough, which will happen if you do it long enough, then people start to know, like, trust you, become familiar with you, and now you are starting to build up a brand based on people interacting with you. You know, I get the craziest things when I get into these arguments about sports. And I love it, and be very honest with you. I love every time this happens to me. So I'll be getting into an argument about sports. You know, we'll be talking about our teams, Miami, or talking about the Bears, or wherever you are. You know, we'll be talking about it. And inevitably, at some point in the conversation, somebody's going to tell me to stick to marketing and sales. And that tells me I am really doing great work. You know why? Because dudes that don't care nothing about marketing and sales are telling me who I am to them. Oh, you're the marketing and sales guy who think he know about sports. And I take that as a compliment every time it happens, because it is usually somebody that is not a small business owner. So that means that my stuff is actually reaching people, and people are identifying me as that person. So it's a slow process. It's a process that requires a lot of consistency. Because the algorithm wants to see you working daily, because if you're not working daily, then they're not going to work with you or work for you. So if you're busy and you need to chop this content up, and you're like, oh, I'm going to use, one of the, um, I don't want to say their names, but you know who they are. I'll say them. If you want to use one of those, I'm not going to say their names because they ain't paying me no money. But if you're using one of those, you still have to have stuff that people want to read, stuff that people care about, stuff that people are interested in. So even if you use the same, thing I said before about the emails and telling the future, you could do it in video form. And I recommend that you do both. But the email is going to get you the fastest return on your money. The email is going to get you the most people who are willing to buy the most from you, because these are people who've already kind of said, I think you're an okay person. Who've already said, hey, I kind of see some value in you. That's why I gave you something that was personal, my email. So I gave you my phone number. That's why I friended you or followed you in the first place, because I kind of saw something in you. So working through those people is going to get you the results you want a lot faster than chasing strangers. In the words of TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls. So again, back to telling the future. Okay? You want to take something that is happening, that is pertinent to your industry, and then you want to tell the people in your industry how this is going to affect them. If you're somebody who bakes cakes, how's the price of eggs? How's the price of cooking oil? How are those things going to affect people in your industry? Hey, if you think about baking a cake to yourself probably don't do it. Because eggs are this much and oil's this much, and after you get through, it's probably going to cost you about this much to bake a cake. Whereas I can make the same cake for this amount right here. And one of the reasons I can is because I buy my stuff wholesale. I don't buy a dozen eggs. What you're paying for a dozen eggs, I can get 4 dozen eggs for it. What you're paying for 48 ounces of oil, I can get 5 gallons for it. So it enables me to give you the opportunity to get a cake at a much lower cost, without you having to take the time out of your day, without you having to run into busy grocery stores, without you having to do any of those things. But the price of eggs and butter and oil is what opened up the loop to start the conversation. Now, if you're a more of a current events kind of person, do you just use the current events? How's Diddy affecting? How's Drake affecting? How's Cardi B affecting? Now maybe that works a little bit better for young people than it does older people, but you could also use death. What does it mean this person dying? What does it mean this person retiring? What does that mean for the community? What does that mean for that particular person? And all you're doing is you're just wrapping it around what you do. The high price of gas means the following. So if you're somebody who has to commute back and forth each and every day, you're going to need to save money somewhere. And right now I'm offering, and there you go. And now you opened up a loop, you talked about the problem, and now you shifted to an opportunity that they have to avoid pain. So that's how you get emails opened, by talking about things that are important to the people that are reading them. You get them to buy faster by setting deadlines and limiting the amount of product that you are putting into the market. Okay. The reason you want to do it is because it's going to help you avoid going broke this holiday season, avoid getting ghosted, avoid the pain and fear and shame of trying to reach out to people directly. Plus, it's going to be more economical than trying to boost ads. And way more effective because now it allows you to talk one to one, even though it feels like one to many. Whereas when you're going with social media, it is one to many. And not only is it one to many, they're strangers, which means that you're going to have to reach out multiple times, and you're going to have to hope that you reach enough people who have the problem that you're talking about. And if you're not talking about the problem, they're probably not going to read it in the first place because there's nothing to trigger them to read it anyway. But again, if you do get those people, now it becomes like, man, how many do I need to get and how fast can I get them? And it may take longer than you have. You trying to put a billboard up, you trying to pass out flyers, you trying to do lives on social media by itself might take a long time. Okay? Because what you're doing is you're trying to take people who are not strangers, get them to become familiar with you, get them to then like you, get them to then trust you, so that they will then interact with you well enough, long enough to make a decision that you are the person who can solve their problem. Now, when you hire your marketing person, remember this. Marketing people don't take sales meetings. They don't make sales calls. So you have to make sure that you are on top of the thing that happens after they post, the thing that happens after they shoot the video, the thing that happens after you walk around with the camera, which is now, how do I take the people who are kind of interested in me and then get an opportunity to answer their questions and build trust with them and build up some type of familiarity so that they see me as a solution, so that they feel as though I'm somebody they can trust, so that they have confidence in what it is that I'm offering, and they see that I can help them. Because if that stuff doesn't happen, the likelihood of them giving you their credit card information or their hard-earned money isn't very high. So, again, that's how you run an effective email campaign. I've run a lot of them. They work. They work really well. And then also, here's a little bonus, is it gives you a chance to establish additional streams of income. Because maybe you've gotten really good at the social media, but you don't really follow up with all your leads. So you're just banking leads. And if you don't send them anything, and you don't keep them engaged, you have people who maybe weren't in their buying window, who thought you could have possibly been a help to them, who just weren't ready to buy right then. So now for those people, they're eventually going to come into their buying window. Maybe somebody didn't want to lose weight all summer, but now first of the year comes and they do. But if you've been sending them emails on a consistent enough basis, telling them what's going on and what's going to affect them and what they need to expect and what they need to avoid, when they finally do get to the beginning of the year, you're the person they choose. Because they've been thinking about it. They were on the fence. But you're the one that's been giving them the information. So why would I go anywhere else? I had a client, huge email list. Wasn't working it. We got involved. That was one of the main things that I attacked. Hey, we got all these emails. Let's start talking about stuff that they're interested in so we can start getting some kind of rapport built, some type of trust, some type of value created with them, to where they think we're important to them and what we're saying is important to them, so that we can then give them an opportunity that's going to help them going forward. And you know what happened? Less than 60 days, had like 100 new customers from people who had already spent money with us. Why? Because that trust value, the trust barrier wasn't there. No, they trusted us already because they spent money with us once. And then we had some new customers that weren't a part of the people who already knew us, but they were just sitting in the emails waiting on somebody to offer them a good deal. Waiting for somebody to then say, hey, here's your chance. I know it wasn't your chance last time, and maybe you missed the last time, or maybe you didn't have money the last time, but we're running it back. So if you do those things, you'll have way more success. Because again, email is one-to-one. And when you're writing them, you should write it like you're only talking to one person. Because the reality is, even if you send out 100 of them, each person gets it individually. So don't talk to the crowd. Don't say, hey guys. Say, hey you. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for Small Business Owners and Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, best-selling author, SaDon Long, a.k.a. Most Dangerous Man in Marketing, a.k.a. your business big bro, a.k.a. Mr. Better Than Your 401k. And again, we are 44 days away from Christmas. And if you need any help answering any of the questions that you may have in your head right now about how to send an email, what to say in an email, you can do one thing. You can go over to growandrich.com. And over there, not only are you going to be able to click the Fast Cash button, which is going to get you in touch with me. You can also look at our blogs. You can look at our other video library. And there are going to be plenty of videos and plenty of blogs that will help you make cash fast. So go over there, click the Fast Cash button. That'll get you a free 30 with me. Make sure that you click that button because we're only 44 days away. So if you don't click it now, when are you going to click it? Free 30 with me. So also, video library, sales blogs that are also going to be like this one, giving you tips, strategies that are actually have worked. Not talking about things that, maybe you could do. I'm talking about things that I've been doing for over a decade, helping people make a lot of money. And I don't know what your market has been doing, but I know what I've been doing. And the proof is in the pudding.